Hi, everybody. It's time to start reviewing for the AP exam. Um, you all have been the best group that I've had for AP Bio this year, hands down, easily. You've worked so diligently through the year, and the connections that I very frequently heard in class that you all made between previous things we learned and the current things we were learning showed me how deeply you were thinking about the material and the strong grasp you had on the material. So I know that the exam this year is going to be a little bit different than we anticipated, but I feel really confident in your ability to do this. I just wanted to let you know. I think I've been saying that a lot recently, that I feel really, really good about all of you this year, but I just want to say it again, and hopefully everybody is hearing this. I feel excited. That being said, we are going to have to study hard. We are going to have to work hard to make sure that we're really prepared, but we're going to do that together, and I'm going to talk about how you will individually take ownership of that as well. Before I get into our plan for the review, I want to show you a breakdown of what the exam is going to be like. So we know that it's going to be on May 18th at 2 p.m. And we know that we're going to have about 45 minutes total-ish for the exam. It's a little bit different than that. We're going to kind of see in a second. So there's two questions. The first free response question, you'll have 25 minutes to answer, and it will be about 65% of your score, and you'll have 5 minutes to upload it when you're done. This document, it's called Biology Information Form CB for College Board. It has the breakdown of what we can expect from the question, not content-wise, but like the type of question it will be. So it will be between 8 and 10 points, and it will be approximately 4 parts, parts A through D. Part A, we can expect to be worth about 1 or 2 points, and we can expect to have to describe and explain a biological concept, process, or model. So we'll be explaining something that is related to what we've learned this year. For part B, we're going to have to identify experimental design procedures. So this could be like those questions that we've seen where you have to identify independent or dependent variable, or maybe something that you would use as a control, or how a control needs to be changed, or how the experiment needs to be changed, those types of things. Part C is going to be to analyze some data. So there could be a graph, there could be a chart with numbers, but your job will be to analyze and to glean some information from that data. And part D will be to make and justify predictions. So maybe based on that data that they're showing you, they're asking like, what do we think will happen if X? And you'll have to make a prediction and then explain why you're making that prediction with some biology. The second question, they're saying it's similar to question 4 from the regular exam. That might not mean anything to you. That's fine. You'll have 15 minutes to answer it, and it will be worth 35% of your score. You'll have 5 minutes to upload it. So for this question, it will be a 4-point question, and it will, again, probably be about 4 parts. The first part, you'll have to describe a biological concept or process again. Part B, you'll have to explain that biological concept or process. So remember, the difference between describe and explain is describe, you're kind of like saying what happens, and explain, you're saying why that happens. Then you'll have to predict the cause or effect of a change in that biological system. So say, for example, if we're talking about cellular respiration and they tell us that the enzyme that does glycolysis, that breaks glucose into pyruvate, stops working, they might ask us, like, what does that mean for the rest of cellular respiration, for the rest of that process? And then we would have to justify the predictions of why we think that those results would happen based on that change that was made. So this is what we can expect from the exam. I'm also going to post this breakdown of the content that we've learned so far. So in AP Chemistry, I just read Chemistry of Life. In AP Biology, there are 8 units, and we did not get to 7 or 8 this year, and they're not going to be on the exam. So in this document that I'm posting, it has units 1 through 6 so that you can see just kind of broken out, like, what all is it that you're responsible for knowing. We've learned all of this material, but it might just be helpful for people to kind of like use this as like a check off box. Like, what do I feel like I am strong in, or what do I need to go back and look at, or like what do I need to study at all? Or some people might choose to make a study guide from this, like use this as headings and put information that they know into it. That could be a really good use. I just wanted to make sure you had access to it. So some other things that are not related to this document. So this week, we're going to start our review. We're also going to have our mock exam on Wednesday. So this is a great chance to see where you are and to get a sense of what it's going to be like to take this exam at home, and to type it. Or I think we're probably going to have to type for the mock. I'm not positive though. I'll post the instructions for that as soon as I have it. It's this Wednesday, 2 p.m. Um, and also this week, I'm going to give you an FRQ every day that's not the mock exam. And I'm also going to, on each of those days, give you access to the scoring guide for that free response question. Now, I've debated this a lot. I I feel really strongly that you need to try the FRQ before you look at the scoring guide to really give yourself a chance to do that recall that I've talked about all year, where you're pulling information from the back and pulling it to the front of your head. Remember, the more you do that, the more you'll be able to access that information when you actually take the test. So if you're looking at the scoring guide before you're even attempting the FRQ, you're not giving yourself that practice and you're not seeing what you actually know. But I'm not there with you. So it's on you to make sure that you are attempting the free response question before you look at the scoring guide. That's how you're going to get the most out of this. So I'm asking that you answer the FRQ in the Google Doc that I'm going to share with you each day. Each day will be a different question. If you want to handwrite it and upload it instead, you can. And then I'm asking that you make corrections to your answer after you look at the scoring guide, using a different color, just so I can kind of see like what you wrote originally and what you changed, and so you can visually see that for yourself. I'm also going to try to make review videos this week based on videos that the College Board has made for review. They're not going to be as good as the College Board ones, but they're going to be a little bit shorter. And I don't feel like I can require you to watch the College Board ones because of the length of time that they are. That being said, if you are really serious about doing well on the AP exam, I highly recommend watching those College Board review videos. They have questions in them as well, practice questions. Um, and it's also really helpful to hear the way that a different teacher explains a concept. So you can hear different language around things. I've posted the link to those review videos on Google Classroom, and I highly encourage making time for that. For my review videos, I'm going to see if they're useful, if it's worth me making them, or if it's not worth me making them. So I'll be looking at the number of views on YouTube, and I'll be looking for feedback from you in terms of like, was that helpful or was that not helpful? Do you already have all that information in your summary pages? Um, and FYI, just so you know ahead of time, you are going to have April break work. I've posted it in this week's schedule of work, and I'll post it on Google Classroom this week as well, so that you can get a head start on it if you want to. It's the 2019 last year's set of free response questions. Those questions are the most similar to what this year's FRQs could look like. Some of the FRQs that we're going to do for practice this week are a little bit simpler. They're from years prior. But the 2019 ones are the best indication of how you'll do and what the questions will look like. So I'm asking that you answer all those questions, look at the scoring guide, correct your answers, and post all of that. That'll be your April break work. If you have any questions, as always, get in touch with me. You're awesome. Keep working as hard as you've been working. I know it's weird to work from home, but you're doing really great, and we're getting close to the AP exam.